Hey guys, it's Cameron again, and I am back for my January and February wrap-up video. First up, I'm just going to start on the manga that I read, and those three were volumes 5, 6, and 7 of the Bleach series. I read volume 5 around the middle of last year, and I wanted to go ahead and read some of the other volumes of the series, but I couldn't really remember what happened in this, so I picked this up and gave it a reread. It's definitely one of my favorite volumes in the series. It is epic and awesome, and I loved it. And then I read volumes 6 and 7, and these were awesome as well. I really love this series. It's very unique and very hard to explain, so if you want to find out more about this, you can go on Goodreads and look up the description. One of the graphic novels I read was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, and oh my gosh, this book is so good. It is an anthology of 5 different stories, all of which are very creepy, kind of fairy tale-esque in a way. Also, the art in this book is fantastic, and it definitely adds to the creepy nature of the stories. There's another good one right there, and that's another awesome one. The illustrations and the text are kind of incorporated in this art form, and it is just fantastic. And the other 3 graphic novels I read were volumes 2, 3, and 4 of the Ultimate Fantastic Four series. Overall, this series is just meh. The first one was really good. The second and third were decent, and then the fourth sucked, and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with the series. The first 3 graphic novels had decent enough storylines. They're a little bit forgettable, but overall they're fun. Also, the art in the first 3 volumes was fantastic. That's definitely the strong point of those 3 volumes. It's very realistic, but it holds a bit of a cartoony look that reminds me a bit of 90s comic books. However, the 4th volume was just terrible in every single way. The story was awful, the art was terrible. The art was just so bad that people's faces looked like potatoes. They were very lumpy, but then again, it was like all the detail had been scrubbed away and it left this very blank look. It was just weird. Whether or not I continue on with the series just depends. Okay, so those were all the graphic novels and manga that I read. Now on to the books. The first one I have here is My True Love Gave to Me. I started reading this in December of last year, and then I finished it in the first week of January. It's an anthology, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some of the stories are spectacular, like Stephanie Perkins and Rainbow Rowell's, but other stories in this book were really bad. But overall, it's an okay book. I will post a more in-depth review of this book on Goodreads pretty soon, so you can keep an eye out for that. Here I have The Ability by M.M. Bond. It's a really cool book, and it sounds a bit like Harry Potter, but I promise the premise is very, very different. Overall, I gave this book 3 stars. The writing fell a little bit flat for me, but overall, it was a very enjoyable book, and I will definitely be picking up the second book, Mindscape, very soon. Then I have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Demigod Files by Rick Riordan. This book technically comes in between books 4 and 5 of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. It doesn't have to be read, it's simply just a filler between the 2 books, but I picked it up because I thought it looked fun. And speaking of Percy Jackson, I also read The Last Olympian, which is the final book in the series. This book just ties up the whole Percy Jackson series so well. There are no loose ends. It's just perfect, and it's one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. And speaking of favorite books that I have read so far this year, I finally picked up Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This book. I read this book over a period of 3 days, and it totally absorbed those 3 days. Every single second, my mind was on this book. It was like watching a Hitchcock movie, if Hitchcock was still alive and directing today. Some of the twists I did kind of see coming, but it was like half and half. I saw this happening, but I did not know it would be for this reason. Because this reason is so messed up, how could this even be a thing? But it was a thing. This book is just messed up, and it is so addictive. So I gave this 5 stars, and I will definitely be picking up Gillian Flynn's other 2 books very, very soon. She is an amazing writer. And speaking of amazing writers, I have Rainbow Rowell's Attachments. This is her very first novel, and this was the very first novel that I've ever read by her. Overall, I really like this book. It's very sweet, maybe just a tad bit too sweet at the tail end. It took about 80 to 100 pages for me to really be invested in this book, but once that point came, I could not put this book down, and I wound up finishing it very quickly. It's very light and funny, but also a common theme with a lot of Rainbow Rowell's books is anxiety, and there is a little bit of that here, but it's not so deep that you feel very anxious while reading it. Even though this is an adult novel, it's a lot lighter than most of her young adult stories. So if you like Rainbow Rowell, I definitely recommend reading this book. Also, I started Rainbow Rowell's other book, Fangirl, at the end of February. Then I finished it at the beginning of this month. So I will have my review up very shortly. So yeah, I will see you guys then. Bye.